On the night of May 6th, a baseball game ended. Then, within seconds, something happened on that field that had nothing to do with baseball and everything to do with it. Shohei Ohtani stepped into the leadoff spot as the designated hitter for the Los Angeles Dodgers against the Houston Astros. The final line reads clean and efficient: 2 hits, 4 at-bats, 1 RBI, 1 walk, and 2 runs scored. But those numbers don't tell you what actually happened between the white lines that night, or what happened after the final out was recorded. This was not just another game. Less than 24 hours before first pitch, Ohtani had thrown 7 innings on the mound. He walked into that lineup carrying the physical weight of a starting pitcher and the expectations of a cleanup hitter. If you're new here and you want real baseball breakdowns like this every time, Baseball Daily is working toward its first 500 subscribers. Hit subscribe, drop a like, leave a comment, and share this video. It genuinely helps. Now back to Dakin Park. From the opening at bat, it was clear the Houston Astros were treating Ohtani as a threat that had to be neutralized early. Their pitcher consistently attacked the lower outside corner of the strike zone, a deliberate approach designed to limit Ohtani's ability to extend his arms and drive the ball with authority. The sequence was sharp, high-velocity pitches mixed with hard-breaking balls, and Ohtani struck out. It was a disciplined approach by the Astros, and in that first inning it worked. What it did not do was break Ohtani's focus. He walked back to the dugout without visible frustration, without any shift in body language. That composure would matter enormously in the innings that followed. The Dodgers had a runner on first with nobody out when Ohtani stepped back into the batter's box in the second inning. The at-bat extended, foul ball after foul ball, Ohtani refusing to give in, working the count, forcing the pitcher to throw more pitches than he wanted to. Then it happened. Ohtani crushed a powerful double into the outfield, and suddenly the Dodgers had a genuine scoring opportunity. What followed was a collapse. The Astros pitcher, already shaken, threw consecutive wild pitches. Ohtani read every one of them. He used his speed to advance, and then he scored all the way from second base on a wild pitch. The crowd erupted, 1 at-bat, 1 double, and the entire momentum of the game had shifted. By the fourth inning, the Dodgers led 6-1. The game was in hand, but Ohtani was not finished applying pressure. With 2 outs, he worked through a grinding at-bat and drew a walk. That alone would have been fine. What happened next was not expected. Ohtani stole second base, clean, decisive, and executed with the kind of burst that belongs to elite athletes a decade younger. The significance of that stolen base was not lost on anyone watching. This was a man who had pitched 7 innings the previous night, and he was stealing bases in the 4th inning of the following day's game. Freddie Freeman followed with an RBI double, and Ohtani came sprinting home to score. The Astros had no answer. Dodgers leading 9-1, runners on first and third, 2 outs. The game was effectively decided, but Ohtani delivered anyway. He drove the ball through the infield for an RBI single, giving the Dodgers their 10th run of the game. That hit was the punctuation mark on a performance that had been building since the second inning. The Dodgers won decisively. Players gathered near the dugout. The celebration was natural, relaxed, the kind that follows a dominant team victory. Ohtani was talking with teammates, preparing to leave the field. He had shown nothing provocative. He had played the entire series with calm, professional conduct despite facing physical play from opponents throughout. Then Astros players Bryce and Yordan Alvarez approached aggressively. Television footage captured the escalation in real time. Within seconds, what started as a heated verbal confrontation turned into something far more serious. Matthews shoved Ohtani hard from the front, knocking him to the ground. Before Ohtani could react, Alvarez allegedly struck him in the left shoulder area. The stadium went silent. Freddie Freeman was the first Dodger to reach Ohtani, sprinting across the field to push Astros players back. Within moments, both benches had cleared. Coaches were physically pulling players apart. Security personnel flooded the field. The atmosphere, which had been celebratory seconds earlier, became completely chaotic. Ohtani remained on the ground for nearly a minute. He was visibly in pain and required assistance from the medical staff to get up and leave the field. For a player who functions as both a frontline starting pitcher and a lineup centerpiece, any impact involving the shoulder carries consequences that extend far beyond a single game. MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred held an emergency press conference within hours of the incident, a rare same-night response from the league office. Manfred stated directly, "No matter how frustrated someone may be, violent actions targeting opposing players are completely unacceptable. Baseball is a sport of courage, not hatred." Dodgers manager Dave Roberts was equally direct in the post-game press conference. He did not soften his words. Roberts said, "I've managed for many years, but I've never seen anything this terrible. My players battled through many intense innings, and instead of receiving respect afterward, Ohtani was attacked right on the field. MLB needs to set." After 24 hours of investigation, MLB announced its official decision. Bryce and Yordan Alvarez were each suspended for 20 games of the 2026 season for violent conduct that endangered an opposing player and damaged the image of the league. Both players were also heavily fined, and the league issued a formal warning that any repeat conduct would result in significantly harsher penalties. Medical examinations confirmed that Ohtani sustained soft tissue injuries to the shoulder and neck area, with no damage to bones or ligaments. That was the best possible medical outcome given what had occurred, but it did not reduce the concern. For a two-way player operating at Ohtani's level, A shoulder injury of any classification carries long-term implications for both pitching velocity and swing mechanics. To fully understand the weight of what Ohtani carried into Game 3, it's necessary to look at what he did in Game 2. He pitched 7 complete innings, the first time he reached that milestone since joining the Los Angeles Dodgers. His fastball touched 101 mph. His pitch sequencing combined elite velocity with sharp breaking balls that made it nearly impossible for Astros hitters to establish any consistent timing. Baseball analysts noted afterward that the 7-inning outing was not just a statistical achievement. It represented a measurable increase in the trust the coaching staff places in Ohtani as a frontline starting pitcher. He controlled the game from the first inning, and he did it through a combination of power and precision that few pitchers in the league can replicate. When Ohtani pitched 7 innings in Game 2 and then appeared in the Game 3 starting lineup, the recovery window between those two appearances was approximately 10 hours, after accounting for travel, medical treatment, meals, and sleep. According to analysts, even veteran position players who do not pitch, sometimes require rest days after back-to-back games to avoid injury risk. Ohtani had maintained this schedule for 3 consecutive weeks, pitching high-intensity night games and then appearing in daytime lineups the following day. There's no modern baseline for comparison because no modern player has operated this way at this level, for this long without a break. Dave Roberts acknowledged the physical demands clearly before Game 3. He said he believed Ohtani wanted to play and the team had a scheduled day off after the series concluded. Roberts stated, "As long as Ohtani is healthy enough to take the field, having him in the lineup always provides enormous advantages for the Dodgers, both competitively and emotionally." On one night, Shohei Ohtani delivered a 10-run offensive performance less than 24 hours after throwing 7 innings, stole a base, scored twice, and was physically attacked on the field after the final out. Matthews and Alvarez received 20-game suspensions. Ohtani's shoulder sustained soft tissue damage but no structural injury. The facts of this night are straightforward. What they say about the player at the center of all of it, that part is something every baseball fan already understands. If you follow real baseball content and breakdowns like this, you'll like what's coming next on Baseball Daily. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Drop a comment below. Do you think 20 games was the right punishment, or did Matthews and Alvarez deserve more? And if this video gave you something, share it with someone who follows the game. See you in the next one.